I had my mic turned down. Hello, and welcome back to the spoilerCast for the fourth and final Halloween spoilercast, right?
Technically, we didn't do one last week, so we're only on 3.
We didn't? Oh, right.
No.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we were going to do...
Things got in the way.
Things got in the way, and honestly, we were going to do another Netflix movie, the #Alive movie, and I wasn't in the mood. I don't know what it was. I just didn't like the movie. I have to rewatch it because I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna watch this. Fuck this. So yeah, we took a week off and we decided to watch something that is not Netflix related at all. It's not even on Netflix.
But it's not a new movie either, which we usually do.
Yeah, it's an old movie. We have done some old movies before, but I think this is the oldest one. And it's been a while. Yeah. But this is a horror classic. Oh, first of all, say hello to my sister and co-host, Rebecca.
As usual.
As usual, yeah. Yeah, this is a horror classic, and it's Rosemary's Baby, the 1968 Roman Polanski horror classic, which I'd seen before, but it was a long time ago, and you hadn't seen before, right?
No, I've never seen it. I mean, I've heard of it, but
yeah.
The idea what I thought it was about was not it.
Oh, okay.
I think I kind of like mixed it up with I think it's the Changeling or something with Jolie.
Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, isn't that when she loses her baby, and when she gets it back she thinks it's not her baby?
Yeah, it's another child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was this.
Oh, okay. Well, but that's not a horror movie. It's a good movie though.
Yeah. I haven't seen that either, so
No, okay. But there is
story.
There is actually a horror movie called The Changeling with George C. Scott. But I haven't.
Well, I mean, changelings are a monster, so.
Yeah, and in that movie, it is an actual changeling. Which in Angelina Jolie's Changeling, it's not a monster; it's just another child. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So that was the first thing I was going to ask you. You didn't know what the movie was about.
Not really. I mean, I knew it was something about devils.
Okay, yeah, because you mentioned you wanted to watch a movie about like satanic cults or something, and I was like,
something
what can we watch?
Horror-ish.
Yeah.
What we watched before was just. I mean, we watched a horror comedy basically, which just wasn't even horror. And then I don't even remember what was the second.
Yeah, because none of them were good. So I don't remember them.
Oh god, I don't remember what the second one was. I have to check.
We watched Vampires vs. Brooklyn.
Oh no, that one. That's the one I forgot. I thought of Hubie Halloween.
All right, Hubie Halloween. Oh god.
So we didn't do anything that was horror.
Yeah.
Or Halloween. I was like, come on, we need to do horror.
Yeah.
And horrors are demons, devils,
and devil worship.
I guess witches, and sometimes it depends on. Vampires should be, but like proper vampires.
Yeah.
Like scary vampires, not children.
Ooh. And that's actually coming this Saturday on October 31st. The last episode of My Childhood Horrors comes out then, and we're going to talk about the not the first, but the kind of like original vampire movie, Nosferatu. So yeah, look forward to that wherever you are. There you are, the camera. Where was I going with that?
I don't know. You were plugging your next video.
Yeah. I was thinking. All right, before that,
horrors.
Huh?
We were talking about real monsters and real horrors.
Yeah, and before that, I talked about Evil Dead, which is demons, which is another like proper horror thing. And the week before that, it was Night of the Living Dead with zombies, which I consider like a proper like horror movie monster.
Well, yeah, if done right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Zombies aren't done right, so they're not scary.
No, there aren't that many good horror zombie movies anymore. From time to time, though. But let's get into Rosemary's Baby. So you had a like suspicion that it had something to do with a satanic cult, but you didn't know what it was actually about. So what was your first?
Wrong with basically, that's what I knew.
Oh yeah. You can kind of figure that out by the by
Yeah.
the theme of the feeling of the movie. But what was your first impression watching it?
It was exciting.
Okay.
It was very exciting to try and figure out who was actually in on it and who wasn't.
Spoilers, everyone.
Everyone. Um, it was kind of interesting to see because I figured it might be a depiction of a mental state you kind of get sometimes when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Psychologically, they're just trying to like make a version of, I'm not sure what it's called though. They call it prenatal something something or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm not a medical.
I'm not
I
sure
know
about
there's you can get separation anxiety, but that's after the baby's born.
part of.
Oh yeah, postpartum depression, but you can call it
Yeah,
separation anxiety. Yeah, but yeah,
I
mothers
think
can
there's
go.
probably something similar before you give birth as well. That
Yeah,
you have this sort of feeling that this is not my child. Why am I carrying this monster inside me?
yeah,
So I figured it would be some sort of visual of that.
yeah. Kind of like, is she crazy, or are there actual a demon
Yeah,
baby inside her? Yeah.
yeah, but she
Okay.
didn't know that there was a demon baby. So that theory, I don't know if that's something they went for.
Well, they're hinting at it. I mean, she mentions that she's been in pain from like November up until New Year's Eve, basically, when they have the
Yeah,
party. So something's wrong with the baby.
that's true.
And
But at the same time, she's taking these weird herbs and
yeah,
stuff, so they could be causing the pain,
yeah,
which is totally normal, considering that they're witches, the
yeah.
people, which you kind of figure that one fast, that some of the people were witches.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, I knew all of it already because I had seen it. So I had a hard time. I gotta say, I had a hard time appreciating it as much this time because, like, the mystery aspect of it was, I knew from the beginning what was going on, but I still appreciated the craft of the movie. But it was not as exciting as I remembered it because I knew everything. So it doesn't, for me at least, doesn't really hold up for repeat viewings.
No, because when you know the mystery, then then what's the
Yeah,
point?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Most movies are that way to me. If there is a mystery involved,
yeah.
like actually trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, a regular action movie and trying to figure out what's the bad guy gonna do next,
Yeah,
whatever,
it
who
doesn't
cares?
matter. You
They're
just want to see
for
the
the action.
explosions. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But a movie like this, yeah, I can understand that maybe it's not that exciting to watch it again.
yeah.
At least maybe one more time to notice some details, but more than
Oh
that,
sure,
probably.
and like I said, for the performances and the
Yeah.
music, I like the music, and the music is weird. There's a bunch of
I
like
only had one
saxophones and
issue.
trumpets.
Yeah, but I had one issue with the music because at certain points there's a piano playing.
Yeah.
I could not, for the life of me, figure out if that was the soundtrack or one of the neighbors
Well, they talk
or
about
someone in
hearing. Yeah.
the apartment playing a piano. But I don't know if they had a piano. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about piano, but they mentioned that she can hear the neighbors
Well, yeah,
chanting and singing. So
but
I don't
they
know. It could be part of the soundtrack. It could be part of the
yeah, because
movie. You know.
it was so crisp, just
Yeah.
like their voices compared to the other parts of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So it felt kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
displaced somehow.
Yeah. You can really tell. It's called, if the music is what's it called? If the music is being played like on a radio so that the characters can hear it, or it's an instrument in the movie, it's called non-diegetic music. And when
Right.
it's the actual score, it's just called diegetic music, or if it's the other way around. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're not really sure whether it is or it isn't diegetic music.
It was just that piano thing that happened
Okay.
like 2 or 3 times. But I mean, it's a production from the 60s. I'm not gonna nitpick on that shit.
Yeah.
Because that's something you today would correct in post production. Maybe they didn't have the same technology back
Yeah.
then. I'm not sure.
I want to nitpick about a technical aspect though, not to the movie's detriment, not that they failed on doing something, but on YouTube's end, because I rented it from YouTube. I don't know
Oh,
if you did.
No, I didn't find it on YouTube, so I
Oh,
rented
okay.
it on Blockbuster.
Oh, okay. Well, I gotta ask you then. Did you watch it in HD? Was it 1080?
It said HD when I rented it. I never actually checked.
Okay. Because I rented it. You could rent it in SD for like $3 or something, $4, or you could in standard definition, or I could rent it in high definition, 1080, for like $5 or $6. And I thought, of course, I'll rent it in full HD. And when I start the movie, it's not even in 720. I can only play it in 480, which is like less than standard definition. I mean, it's a difference of $1, but it still annoyed me because I paid for full HD and I got standard definition. But that's YouTube's fault. So YouTube, I'm calling you out. You better fix that on Rosemary's Baby, or I want $1 back. Anyway,
I want $1 back.
I want my dollar back. Anyway,
I'm gonna see if I can start it just to see what it was, because Blockbuster was that was good.
Yeah, the picture wasn't bad. I mean, it looked like a 1960s DVD movie, so it's fine. But it wasn't HD. You could see that it wasn't HD.
Mine is actually in 1080.
Okay.
And I mean, you could tell. I mean, it was crisp picture for being
Yeah.
in the 60s.
Yeah.
Really good.
And
so Blockbuster, go for it. Use Blockbuster.
All right, yeah, we're endorsing Blockbuster this episode. Don't rent it on YouTube.
No.
Rent it on Blockbuster.
However, it's Blockbuster Sweden. I don't know if there's a difference in the other countries.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Anyway, back to the movie. so, well, yeah, go a little more. Like, what did you like about the movie? What didn't you like about the movie? It's very exciting when you to have a fresh opinion on it, especially someone who didn't know what it was about even.
I gotta say it was a bit of a slow starter for me.
Yeah.
Because the whole part of them checking out the apartment and just when they move in and it's all empty, and then you get sort of a montage of them redecorate. It was like, okay, we get it, but that was almost 40 minutes of the movie, I think.
Yeah, it is. The baby is conceived at 49 minutes. So,
yeah. It takes it's a bit long.
It is a bit long. I didn't remember it's that long.
The second half of it, from when the baby is conceived, that horror dream sequence.
Very strange, very weird scene.
Hard time concentrating on what the hell was going on, to be honest.
But I think that's the point.
That is amazing. I loved the second part of it.
Yeah, that's where it really picks up.
But the beginning was a bit slow. And I mentioned it to you just before we started streaming. I was a bit annoyed with some of the how do you say it? How people treat women in the 60s.
Yes.
But again, it's the 60s.
It's the 60s. It's before Summer of Love. The whole hippie revolution hasn't really started yet. Yeah. It's a movie from a different time. I'll agree to that, definitely. But also,
I had somewhat difficulty to accept some of it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know it's from the 60s. That's what they did. I mean, I expect certain things, sure. But like, two things bothered me. One, of course, being the rape, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
his explanation of it, or like what I don't know what words to use, but his like, oh, but we wanted to have a baby. No, just no.
Yeah, because she's unconscious.
Yeah, that's never okay.
I'm not defending it. But doesn't she say, "But we want to have a baby" when she is delirious?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's.
When he starts to undress her, she does say, "No, what are you doing? I want to be comfortable as I am."
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So she was like, "But we said we should," and then she feels even more sick. And when he starts, she's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah.
And a no means a no, even if it's not the word no.
Yeah, I agree. But that's also
though I just have to mention it because it's a tiny thing. It's a very tiny thing.
Yeah.
One morning when they wake up, and she doesn't want to get out of bed. He tells her, "You have to get up. Who's gonna make me breakfast?"
Oh, I missed that.
And she's like, "Do it yourself." No. That's what we
Oh my god. Well,
do.
listen here.
And I think it's the morning after even. So she's been drugged and raped. Let her sleep.
Yeah, but first of all, he has to play it like everything's normal because he knows what happened. But but also, listen, once again, it's a different time, and she is a stay-at-home. She's a housewife.
True.
I
But if
mean,
you've been really sick the night before, maybe he could cut her some slack.
yeah, I get it. I'm just saying.
That was just like those were the things I like caught on.
Yeah. But also it should be added that that aspect of her being like forced to do things or being like treated like a child, that's part of the whole conspiracy, because they're literally just using her throughout the entire movie. The entire movie, at least from the rape scene, it's basically an elongated rape. She's constantly being used and abused up until the baby is born. So it fits the narrative, so to say.
Well, yeah. I even from like the time that the neighbor dies. I don't remember her name now. Terry or something.
Oh yeah, Teresa something. Yeah.
Because that's when they decide, oh, we're gonna pick you instead.
Yeah, because she was the first victim, but maybe she found. We don't know what happened to her, but maybe she found out or something went wrong.
I think this is just a theory. I haven't read up on anything. I don't know if anyone else had this theory before, but it's much easier to have Rosemary because she already has a husband.
That's true. Yeah.
So when Rosemary moves in and they're like, "Oh my God, we have a couple," and he's an actor. Actors are desperate.
Yeah, and he can act. Like nothing happened.
Get rid of the other one because she's just gonna be in the way.
Yeah.
And let's start grooming Rosemary because that's what they do. They groom her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes total sense.
I'm guessing. You never know.
Yeah. I want to say though, the first half of the movie up until the rape scene, it's not I don't think it's a complete waste of time. There is a lot of like character setup, and there is even there a little hints here and there that something is wrong with this building.
Well, yeah, you have the beginning when Hutch starts telling them all the horror stories about that building.
Yeah, that, and then also when they get into the when they first see the apartment, they go into her the lady who lived there, the first female lawyer, whatever she was.
Yeah.
Mia Farrow, Rosemary. What is her name? I think it's Rosemary. Ro.
They just call it Ro.
Yeah, Ro. Well, she sees a note where it says, I don't remember exactly, but like, I can't stand by any longer. I can't.
Yeah, I
can't accept this. Yeah, it's like in cursive, so you can't really read it. But it's like
the subtitles didn't translate it for me, so I couldn't read it.
Yeah, but it's like part of a like suicide note or something where she's like confessing something, and she died recently, and maybe she was probably going to expose them, and she blocked off that cupboard or whatever you want to call it, the little broom closet
thingy, yeah.
Which it turns out in the end is like a hidden passage to the other part of the house, basically, or their apartment, I suppose, the neighbor's apartment.
No, it can't be their apartment. It has to be someone else's.
It looks different, right?
Yeah, and their apartment is across the hall from their front door.
Yeah, but it looks like the room where they
hear them from their bedroom wall. So somehow the apartments must go around. I don't know.
Well, it's a devil house, so
yeah. Because if you look at the floor plan, what little you see, that makes no sense. Because they're across from each other, and there's an entire hallway, and then there's a window.
Yeah.
Or a wall, at least. Oh, maybe there's just a wall, and that's where they could. Whatever.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't get the floor plan. That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
They shouldn't be able to hear each other. They shouldn't be able to walk into each other's apartment. I do know that they mention it, like this is the back part of that apartment.
Yeah.
But I just don't get it.
And then there's also, she mentions when they're over there for dinner, she mentions that they'd taken down all the photos or all the
Oh yeah,
the pictures, and it turns
one.
out because they had a bunch of pictures up of the Mercado guy or whatever his name was,
Yeah,
who built the place, which we see in the end when you have a
the,
huge picture of him over the
the exact
fireplace.
picture that is in the book
Yeah,
that
exactly.
gives Rosemary.
So there's a lot of that, but yeah, it is a little long. I mean, it's over 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 16 minutes. That's very long
Two
for
hours 11 without the
oh sure
credits.
credits. Yeah, but still, that's over 2 hours for a horror movie. And a slow moving horror movie like this, it is a
Yeah,
little long. Yeah,
there are certain things that could be cut down or just shortened. Like you, I mean, it's good to show consistency when they're doing what they're doing when they're grooming her, so you understand that it's not just a one-off.
yeah,
But like showing her drinking that goddamn drink 20 times,
yeah. I
bit
know,
much. Five, six maybe would have been enough.
but that's also the thing. When the movie was finished, I mean, when they finished photography or production, the rough cut was 4 hours long,
I can
and
imagine.
yeah, and the director Roman Polanski, he told the editor, I don't want to remove anything, but it can't be 4 hours. You deal with it, and he just left because he was like, I can't touch it. He was too like wrapped up in the
That was his baby.
footage.
He
Yeah,
didn't
it
know
was
how
his
to
baby.
do
Yeah,
something.
so he just said, you cut it. And
I can understand that because it looks like there's a lot of work put into it. You can tell,
yeah,
like not just from based on that it is the 60s. I mean, doing this today would also require a lot of work and a lot of there's a lot of actors in it compared to a lot of movies you see
yeah,
now.
and you do notice that the towards the end when it shows that everyone in the house is basically in on the whole Satan cult thing. There are a lot of yeah. Your door is
I know they
ghosting.
can't open
It's
it.
it's haunted. No, it's
It's a
ghosts.
cat.
No, it's
It's a
ghosts. It's ghosts. Okay. um, there are some neighbors that definitely don't get enough screen time. So when they appear in the end, you're like, who is she? Who is he? And there are some
Yeah.
that haven't been in the movie at all, like the guy that arrives in the end. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Japanese guy with the camera,
which is
and
I'm not sure, but why would they pick the Japanese guy to have the camera?
I, well, it was
It's just a
it's
weird
a
stereotype.
stereotype, and if you want to be that person, it is a true stereotype. Even
I guess.
even more back then when cameras wasn't as ready available,
I
Japanese
guess.
people they had them though. But then I think he's like Italian or Greek
Yeah, I don't know
guy
where
that appears. He's
an
with the white
important
suit.
person.
I'm they probably were in those 2 hours that was cut out. I have to believe.
At least.
It
Like some of
like
it.
it doesn't hurt the movie. The movie doesn't feel like confusing. Like they've cut out stuff that was needed. But there are some actors that feel like they were cut out.
Yeah.
Most of their performances were cut out.
I'm not sure what they would contribute with, to be honest, because
No.
you do have a full story. You have
Oh yeah, sure. So there's
almost
probably
too many characters as it is.
yeah. So there's probably a lot of like conversation scenes
Yeah.
where they're just building the characters up, and then characters that aren't really necessary for the movie to work.
Yeah.
I would have to guess are in those 2 hours. It would be cool to see it, but I don't think a lot of it exists anymore. Maybe some deleted scenes still exist. That would be kind of cool to see.
Another just hyping up Blockbuster here. You get some extra material.
Oh, what?
So I have another day to watch it, I think.
Cool. Yeah, on YouTube you don't get any of that. Once again,
Yeah.
Blockbuster. We're repping
I
you
mean,
this episode.
YouTube is fine, but this movie, Blockbuster.
YouTube is fine, yeah, but Blockbuster.
I do know that in America you could rent it on Amazon as well, but I couldn't do that in Sweden.
Okay, yeah,
It wouldn't accept it.
yeah. Um,
I liked the attention to detail regarding the witches in general, to be honest, because I mean I think we mentioned yeah, we were talking about the vampire lore when we saw Vampires versus the Bronx.
yeah,
And in this case, the witch lore is pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of like little details that the movie, not that you have to know it, but it helps if you know stuff about witches.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
how they
know
work.
a lot, but like tiny things as herb remedies, and we don't like pills, just stuff like that you've heard
Yeah,
in history class,
nature
basically.
is a big thing,
Yeah,
and the fact that they make blood sacrifices and that children's blood is the best kind of blood.
because it's pure.
It's pure, yeah.
And the whole thing about selling your firstborn child to the devil, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then also, which they don't, it doesn't really work because the main witch lady, whatever her name is,
Minnie?
yeah, but the actress,
I don't know.
Ruth Gordon,
Yeah.
who is in one of my all-time favorite movies, Harold and Maude.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a movie she made after. This was kind of a revival of her career. She made a bunch of movies in the 70s, and did some of her best stuff, and Harold and Maude is one of those. But anyway, witches are they're very witches are kind of a feminist thing. I mean, that's why a lot of feminists call themselves witches, because they're independent. They don't need no man, and all of the witches, or they're not technically witches. They're part of a cult, but they are kind of witch-like. You never see them with a guy, with a husband or anything, except for Ruth Gordon's character, Minnie. She is married to whatever his name is.
Roman,
right?
Actor is Sidney Blackmer.
Yeah.
Blackmer? Yeah.
But I guess he's like the leader of the cult because he is the son of the guy who started it.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe that's why. But that's also the thing. There's a lot of like women there, but you don't see them accompanied by any men because they're witches. So that's also a little hint,
Yeah. But at the same time, like you said, they're not. I mean, they don't do anything specifically witchy except for how they groom Rosemary.
Yeah.
The thing they do, what they want to do, that's not witches. That's just devil worship.
Yeah.
Which is associated with witches, but considering what we know in this day and age, it's not.
Well,
Devil worship and witches isn't the same thing.
Some witches. But like actual. Well, that's the thing. Like, actual witches don't really exist anymore. You have Wiccans, but that's another thing.
Yeah, that's true. They have reclaimed the word witch, though. They're trying to.
Yeah, I know. They call themselves witches, and they are witches, but devil worshipping witches was
the way we know them. Yeah,
that was a thing. That might still be a thing. I don't know.
The ones who married the devil to consult their soul to him to get magical powers. Yeah. that
was a thing. Even though a lot of people were burned at the stake just for being like independent or
herbologists.
Yeah, exactly. But there were actual witches, and probably still are. But then you have the more popular one is Wiccans, because they're more benevolent. They believe in nature and spirituality. They don't do blood sacrifices. Some do, but then there's like animal stuff.
Yeah.
So
just a small amount of blood that you don't have to kill people for.
Yeah. So that's more accepted. These are proper, like, OG witches.
I mean, they were trying to birth the Antichrist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We actually talked about that. We did a Please Don't live stream yesterday where we talked about the witch, the witch,
yes. I got the notification while I was watching the movie, so it chose to watch.
And we talked a lot about how every part of the witch lore in that movie is like a perfect representation of what witches were back then. Like, the movie expects you to know a lot about witches, which is kind of interesting in that movie.
Yeah.
And there was similar things in this. They don't really explain what witches do more than what she reads in the book. But there's a lot of other stuff that you just have to, like, if you know about witches, you're like,
But I think that's a good thing, though.
I think that's a good.
So only the people in the know will know.
The movie doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't coddle the viewer.
No,
that's what a good movie does, I think.
Yeah, and it's cool in the aspect that you can either be, when you watch it, you can be more of the part of the coven, or more of Rosemary kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you can watch it as Rosemary, you can watch it as People in the Coven.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
And
it took not long, like even before she got pregnant, to figure out that Roman's in on it. No, not Roman. Her husband, Guy.
Guy. Yeah.
Like,
The guy.
yeah, I hate that name.
I really liked that in his performance because in the beginning of the movie he's a little like aloof. But that's because he's a struggling actor, but he's still he's very loving. They seem to be in a very healthy relationship. But there is the scene where they're having dinner with Minnie and Roman, and Minnie and Rosemary in the kitchen, I think. Yeah, they're Minnie's washing dishes.
Yeah.
And they walk out into the
lounge,
common area, whatever, and you see Roman and Guy smoking in the sofa. And they've obviously been talking about something. About a proposition, maybe. And after that moment, Guy is kind of like, he's a little more distant. He's a little more irritable. And then especially after the rape, he's like, in some scenes, he's even having trouble touching her. That when she says, "I can feel the baby kick," and she takes his hand, and he doesn't want to touch it because he knows what's going on. And but we don't until the actual end. And I that's the kind of thing I appreciate in a performance when you're like, why is he being so weird? Because he knows stuff. And when you realize that in the end, that's the thing. Like, look out for when you watch it again.
I mean, you can tell. I think it's when he gets the call that he gets to replace the dude who got blind.
Yeah.
That's when he's like,
he realizes, it's actually working. Yeah. Oh.
That's when he becomes really, like you said, aloof, sort of distant to Rosemary. He doesn't want to. He's not home, like, ever.
Yeah, he's always working late.
Or he goes over to Roman and Minnie.
Yeah.
Hangs out there. And I mean, that wasn't the first, like, oh shit, he's in on it. But the second part, I think it's when he gets something else going for him. I don't remember what it is now. Or whatever. He mentioned something. Oh wait, that they're moving to California or something.
Oh yeah.
Over. That's like, okay, so he's full aware that this will lead to his career going swoosh.
Yeah.
And he's in on it. That's the, like, definitely.
But then it is
things before that as well, small things. That one is definitely.
Oh yeah. But then it is kind of weird because he's not really it doesn't feel like he's sorry in the end.
Nope.
So you wonder, like, maybe he was never really in love with her, or maybe he just he prioritizes his career over their relationship. Because he's like it's just like you lost it. We'll get another one. It's like, nah, dude, that's not how it works. You don't just get another one, especially not when it's a devil baby.
No, and when she's had such a difficult pregnancy.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Because she's been worried, and he's just saying, no, it's fine, and the doctor's saying, no, it's fine, it'll pass in a few days. Yeah. But then when she sits down and talks to her real friends at the party, that's when you're like, oh shit, this is not how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, and you notice it, especially that. Yeah, she gets paler and paler, and her the dark circles in her eyes gets bigger and bigger.
And Hutch mentions, that's earlier though, that she's losing weight. She lost, like, I don't know what it translated to 3 kilos, I think. No, 3 pounds maybe.
She says 3 pounds. Yeah, which is not
in the first couple of months, which is kind of. It's not even a couple of months. It's the first month.
It's like a kilo and a half.
Yeah, but you should add weight when you get pregnant.
Yeah. He says that most people gain weight when they're pregnant.
You can lose quite a lot when you start breastfeeding, I've heard, but
sure,
not when you.
Or I mean,
have another person inside of you weighing more. Like,
yeah. Once again, I'm no expert, but I can see, like, if you don't eat properly, which she seems like she's not really into. We don't really see her eat much.
We see her eat raw things, which is weird.
But well, that's actually another devil thing.
Yeah.
Because she eats liver at one point, and in the book it's supposed to be chicken liver, and more specifically she eats chicken hearts, and that's some kind of thing that like witch hunters, devil hunters, they used like chicken organs to like suss out who is a witch or a demon, because that's the only like thing they can actually eat. That's why the devil wants her to eat chicken liver and chicken heart. But
She
anyway,
starts off with a basically raw steak, and then she eats.
yeah, when she cooks the steak, she literally
Well,
cooks it for like 5 seconds. 5 seconds. Let's eat. I even said it like out loud, like that's very rare.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, like I was gonna say, like if you don't eat properly, the baby is gonna like start feeding
yeah.
into your reserves, and she didn't have a lot of reserves to begin with, so
It is a parasite, basically. Being pregnant
yeah,
is a
it
parasite.
is sort of.
Because it is draining you of all your energy. You have to eat more to keep
Yeah.
up.
So like she says in the beginning, like, oh, it's natural to lose some weight in the beginning. That
True.
it makes sense. But yeah, it shouldn't be for months.
No.
No, yeah, you should start to gain weight because you're eating for
And you
two.
shouldn't have that kind of pain that she describes.
No,
like,
no.
She
Yeah.
says it's like a wire that's tightening inside her.
Yeah.
No.
No. That's because she had a demon baby in her.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone being like, no, you shouldn't get a second opinion. You should stick with your doctor. He's the best. And it's like,
Yeah.
come on.
That's because the doctor was in on it. He was there in the end. Yeah.
But it's just such a big red flag.
Yeah.
Where people are telling you not to get a second opinion when something's wrong.
Then something is it's just wrong.
Yeah.
But let's skip to the ending. What? Yeah, because I mean, there's not much more to talk about. Or do you have anything else to talk about, like with the movie before we get into the ending?
Like, I thought it was weird that her regular friends, I'm gonna call them her regular friends.
Yeah.
They're normal. Didn't like contact her more though. That was a bit odd, but maybe I don't know if the other people were intercepting that.
That probably happened.
Because she didn't get to see Hutch more than one time during the pregnancy before they removed him.
Yeah, exactly. I think they kind of kept her secluded from other people.
Maybe that was part of it, but like why they made her feel such pain, so that she wouldn't have the energy to contact other people too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then, the ending.
The ending.
How like. First of all, hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Yeah.
That's so funny when everyone starts screaming hail Satan, a bunch of old people.
And it just didn't, I don't know.
No, I mean it's kind of creepy, but when they actually start saying hail Satan, that
kind of ruined it. Kind of made it too funny.
Yeah, it's a little funny.
But shout it like, well, some people do in churches as well, so maybe I shouldn't say that they don't.
No, they do, yeah. But did you? I don't know if you remember from the first Tenacious D album, the like end skit that like, so there's like after City Hall, there's like like 40 seconds of silence, and then there is a like short skit. Do you remember that one?
No, not really.
Yeah, because they reference Rosemary's Baby in that one. Because he asks, Jack asks Cal, "Do you believe in God?" I believe in God. And then you just repeat it. I believe in God. And then after that, you hear them say, "Hail Satan! Hail Satan!" And
that's true. That's true. I remember that now. I one thing I wanted to see the baby.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's what. Because that.
They're mentioning like. She mentions what's wrong with his eyes. What have you done with his eyes? Its eyes. Though. She calls it an it.
Because that's not her baby, you know.
Boy. No, but like even when she wakes up for the first time after giving birth, she asks, "Where is it? How is it?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "It's a boy." Is it okay? She never asks, "Is he okay?" She keeps calling it an it, even though she knows it's a he.
Okay.
And her husband goes, "Yeah, everything's fine. Everyone's good." And then she falls back asleep. And then when she wakes up again, and she's like, "Can I see my baby now? Like, where is my baby?" That's when the doctor comes out, and he's like, "No, the baby died."
Yeah. But then she hears the baby.
Yeah, then a couple of days goes by, and she starts hearing the baby through the walls. But she keeps calling it and the baby. She never goes, because just before giving birth, she's like calling it two names: a boy
Yeah.
name and a girl.
Andy and J- uh,
Jane or something.
Jackie, yeah, or something. I don't remember.
Something.
Yeah.
So why didn't she like, oh, so it's a boy? Where's my Andy? Or where's my baby boy?
I don't
Like,
know.
no.
I didn't pick up on that actually.
I don't know. Maybe that's just because it's a baby. The baby isn't it.
Yeah, she
So,
hasn't seen it yet, so
I
maybe
guess
you need to. I don't
maybe
know.
that's why.
I don't know. I've never given birth to a baby, so I
And
don't know.
then no.
And I never will, hopefully.
Um, but then again, after back to when she sees her baby for the first time, she's
Yeah.
like, "What have you done with its eyes?"
He has his father's eyes.
Yeah, and then I think it's Roman who mentions like, "Look at his hands, look at his feet."
Yeah.
So they're mentioning things that I'm assuming he has red eyes or like yellow eyes, like the demon devil in
Yeah,
the
we
fiction.
did see parts of the demon that gave her the baby. So I'm
Yeah,
guessing it's a baby version of that. So, I mean,
so it's red
we can
and horns, and
probably.
I'm guessing it has like the goat bottom half kind of thing. That's classic devil
There
style.
there actually, I don't know if it's canon, but there is a sequel that came out like 7 years later.
Really?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it until I started looking up some trivia about the movie. Um, it was directed by the guy who edited this movie. And in that one, he's a grown up, so it takes place some like in the future. But then he just looks normal, at least in the pictures that I saw. So, but I'm guessing that in the version we saw, the ending we saw, it's supposed to look like a demon, basically. At least the eyes, and at least like some parts of it look weird. I don't think it's a complete like devil baby, but
No, because I'm imagining it because that's a classic depiction that the devil has a goat bottom half of the
yeah,
body,
yeah.
like hoofs. So I'm thinking he's got hoofs, and then regular baby top, and then yellow eyes, sort
But
of
then
thing.
in your version of the movie, you didn't see like when she reaches into the crib, you didn't see the baby's hand,
No.
because there are. Uh, I've seen depictions, not actual pictures, but depictions of a hand reaching up from the crib to grab her hand, like a little baby demon hand, and
Is
it's
it red?
yeah, it's red. It looks like the demon from the rape
Yeah.
scene. And it's probably just the Mandela effect, but I remember having seen that scene, but I don't think it actually exists. That's the thing. You remember it because
I know what the Mandela effect is.
yeah. I know. But I'm just saying that because we don't see it, we kind of have to depict it ourselves in our
Yeah.
head, and
We
that
create
way,
our own picture,
yeah, and that makes I think that is more scarier.
guess.
That's the whole thing that Lovecraft did so well. When he always talked about the unspeakable terror. It was so horrific. I can't even describe it. Because then
Yeah,
you start
I mean,
thinking, oh my god, how that must be really scary. And you start making up stuff by yourself in your head.
that's what they're doing in Harry Potter as well when they call him the one who shall not be named.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so
They're creating with by not telling you exactly what it is, it lets you create your own narrative and lets you create your own worst fears. Well, put your own worst fears into it, so
yeah,
it makes it more scary for you.
and that is a well like used trope in horror
Yeah.
movies. I mean, like in that it wasn't supposed to be that way, but like in Jaws, you don't actually see the shark until the last, I think, like 10 minutes. Then you actually see it. But before that, it's just you see a fin or you see stuff that is attached to it moving through the water. You don't actually see it, but
Yeah,
you
so
can
you can
imagine a shark
imagine.
that would just devour people whole. That must be
Yeah.
huge, you know. Or like in Alien, we only see like little snippets of it. You never see the whole thing until the very end. So you can imagine how terrifying it must be. So I
Yeah.
like that you don't see the baby, but you see her, and that's actually, I know you can't see it, but the background is when she first see it of our podcast, and
I didn't get the stream notification today.
okay, her
Good.
face, that it speaks volumes, because she is just,
Well, yeah.
she's horrified when she first sees the baby, and I think that in and of itself explains that how the baby looks, sort of. I really liked it.
It works in a movie like this. We don't actually at the end do get to see it.
Yeah.
But like you said, in like with Jaws, for me that's kind of or with Alien, it somehow kind of defeats the purpose sometimes. Because if you get small images and you start imagining what the monster looks like, and then all of a sudden you get to see it, and you're like, oh, that's way less scary than what I imagined.
Yeah.
There is that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So
you
then
fall into that trap if you're unlucky, and that's not with everybody, obviously.
No.
Some people are not even gonna get close to what the alien looks like.
Yeah, but then they.
So you can't please everyone. So I mean, yeah.
So they chose not to show it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, when she looks at it, we do get like a short flashback. You see the eyes of the demon that raped her, so you can imagine that. Yeah, it's similar to him.
And obviously, and because that's the first thing she notices as well, and it's so strange that a baby has yellow eyes.
Yeah, what's wrong with its eyes? That reminds me of, because they say the exact same thing. I don't know if it was intentional, like a Easter egg or something, but in Evil Dead, when the first girl becomes possessed by a demon, they have her trapped in the cellar, and her head sticks up, through the cellar door. The other girl says like, what? I don't know exactly what she says, like, yeah. And what's wrong with her eyes? My God, what did they do to her eyes? Which I think is it must be a reference to Rosemary Baby.
Be a reference, like just an Easter egg kind of thing.
Yeah. Quick. Have you ever seen the Evil Dead movies?
I believe I've seen all of them, to be honest.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, am I mixing them up? The Evil Dead is with it's the cabin in the woods. With oh my God, what's his name?
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Chainsaw, and in the second movie, he gets his hand chopped off, and he puts the chainsaw on the hand stump.
Yeah. Okay. We've seen them together. I think we even tried to have a marathon once.
All right. Well,
we probably didn't see all of them then. And you and I saw the newer version a few years ago.
Oh yeah, we saw that in the cinema. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen it. I've seen them all.
Okay, good.
A while ago, though, to be honest.
I just, because that would be fun to show you otherwise. But anyway. But yeah, right. The last question then. What, because it's kind of left open-ended as to if she stays with the cult and stays with the baby, or if she runs away. What do you think? The way, how do you interpret that last face? When she just looks at it and you kind of see a smile, but not really. She's still scared of it.
I think she stays for the sake of the baby, because of how she reacts when Mary Louise, or wherever the fluffer name was.
Yeah, when she
rocks it too hard.
You're rocking it too hard. Yeah.
Just that reaction that she
cares for the baby.
That cry is like hurting her heart. It hits the heartstrings.
Yeah.
And she's like, move away, bitch, let me do this.
Yeah.
I think she's like, fine, it is my baby. I'll try.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I'm not sure if she stays that long, to be honest. I think maybe when the baby starts being able to do things on its own, she's gonna walk away or try and walk away and probably get killed.
Yeah, I mean, when they don't need her anymore, they'll probably kill her. I mean, but the whole
new baby.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works.
It's the whole metaphor that she's so broken down that she willingly stays.
Yeah, because again, in an abusive relationship, when you get to that point, you don't really know that it's wrong anymore. Then you just stay.
He actually loves me. He just doesn't know how to show it. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or in this case, well, it is my baby. I guess I have to take care of it.
Yeah.
I can't leave it to these maniacs.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I mean, they are the majority of them are like 60 plus.
Oh
I
yeah,
think she even mentions it.
yeah. She mentioned that when they're gonna have a New Year's party, she's saying
Yeah.
we're all, I'm only gonna invite our old friends, or I guess our young friends. No one,
Anyone over 60
no
isn't
one over
invited.
60 is invited. Yeah. So yeah,
Which is a good, very good detail. I like that she kind of broke away from the
yeah,
hypnosis, I guess.
yeah. She
Enough
tries to
to
get away, but it
yeah,
doesn't really work, unfortunately.
enough to even to try and to like contact her old friends.
Yeah.
And her old friends seem to be like, "Oh yeah, of course we're gonna hang out with you. We've been trying to contact you for a while, but we haven't
Hmm.
been able to speak to you." Kind of get that feeling, but no one's mentioning it because you don't mention the war. You don't mention the time that's been apart.
Yeah.
You just continue as if nothing happened.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, she's pregnant, but that's the only difference.
Yeah.
Very pregnant, might I add.
Yeah. Yeah. So from what we can, um, if you just look at the timeline, she hasn't talked to any of her old friends or young friends for like
Basically,
it's like
she
4 months, 5 months. Yeah,
Yeah.
since she moved in. Yeah. Because the baby's going to be born in June. Yeah.
late June.
Yeah. So it's conceived in November, I think.
Yeah, and that's why she's been in pain since November.
Yeah, exactly. And her friends are there at the New Year's party. So
Just before November, maybe.
yeah.
Well, whatever.
So it's been a long time. It's like, shouldn't she have talked to her friends at least once? I
Yeah.
don't know.
But like we said,
But I mean,
you
it's
saw what
different.
happened to Hutch.
It's the 60s. There, maybe her friends don't live in New York. I don't know. Maybe I don't know
Or,
if they mentioned that.
They moved to a new fancy house. Hutch mentioned it. He says it's like, oh, you moved up to that fancy house,
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
fancy part of the town. Um, and I mean, maybe her friends' husbands aren't actors, so
Yeah.
they might have other things going for them, other friends and colleagues to
Yeah.
meet up with
Yeah.
more regularly. So if one friend moves slightly further away, it's kind of common to lose touch of it.
Yeah. Especially back then, they
Yeah.
didn't have social media. They couldn't just
Cell phones.
Discord each other.
Yeah.
So last thing then, because it's kind of become a thing. Is there anything you would change about the movie, like make it better?
I mean, not for this one. I don't think I mean, maybe cut a little bit in the beginning.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Like,
maybe.
I get why you want to have a couple of depictions of them being a loving couple trying to have a baby, but like that one scene when they just moved in and the house is empty and they're having dinner on the floor.
Yeah, and she says,
Why have
let's-
such a prolonged?
yeah, that scene is a little weird. She
of
says,
them trying to have-
let's make love, and they just start like in a very orderly fashion, just take off their clothes, and we see
their
the entire
own
thing.
clothes on each other.
Yeah, there's
one
no
side.
foreplay.
no-
There's just like, let's
no
just do it.
love.
Take off your clothes. Let's just get it all with. But yeah, that's kind of
Like
weird.
he even like downs his drink.
Yeah.
Like,
That is kind of weird. That's the kind of stuff maybe you could cut some of that, but that would only be like a few minutes anyway. So
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Just a few minutes here and there. But no, probably not much else.
Yeah.
It
And-
is. I mean, the classics are classics.
yeah,
for
I was
me.
gonna say that's why it's a classic. It's almost a perfect movie. I think it's a really good movie.
I don't think I can say that for a lot of movies made that we've seen recently.
No.
They're lacking that. I don't know what it is. That extra zing. That one. That the passion maybe. Because I feel like movies back in the days, even like just 90s even, had more passion in them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hollywood has always been about money,
Yes.
but they respected the art of filmmaking more, but I mean that's with everything really. I'm this is just speaking out of my ass here, but it feels like most things today are more diluted than they were back then. Like we take friendships and relationships much easier than we did back then because it's so available. Like meeting up with a
Yeah,
friend doesn't have to be a big thing anymore because we can just talk over the internet or whatever.
You don't even have to meet up anymore. You just do it.
Yeah.
Digitally. You call them or text them, and then you've done your part.
Yeah, and same thing with movies. Like,
Yeah.
especially now that Disney owns like 90% of everything movie related in Hollywood. It is it is just a way for them to. It's another revenue stream for them. Let's just
It's killing the
make a
art.
couple of more. Yeah, it's ruining that balance that I talk about so much, especially with all art, but especially movies. It's a very delicate balance between the money and the actual art, because it's such an expensive art form to make. So
Well, yeah.
you have to balance so that the art matters, but it also has to make money. But the way Disney and Hollywood in general makes movies most of the time nowadays, it's the money matters more and more and more.
Yeah, just look at like.
Look at what they did to Star Wars.
No, but I'm thinking like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When there was a movie coming to the theaters, there were trailers for like months in advance. You had like posters going up everywhere. There was more of a buzz around it. Now it's like, oh, did you know that Netflix released a new movie yesterday?
Yeah. The only
you don't
movies
even have to know about it anymore. Just you get a new movie every week.
Yeah, that too.
Back then it was
more
like
movies made.
Going to the theater and seeing it premiere. Wow,
That was a
you
thing,
had like
yeah.
that was a thing that you did. I mean, even us who went often, not even once a week to see the newest movie back then.
Yeah, I remember 2007. I actually had I had tickets for 2 movies that I booked like weeks in advance. And I was like, whoa, I'm going to watch 2 movies this summer? And I was 17. So it wasn't like I had money to go see more movies, but there just weren't more movies. No. I mean, we're and that's also a thing. We're looking at it with rose-colored glasses. Like,
of course.
Like there was just as many crappy movies back in the 60s and 70s as there are today, but the disparity between crappy movies and good movies, that gap was bigger. I mean, you don't have Rosemary's Baby today. The closest we have is like, I guess, if we're like a horror movie that is like really well made, I guess, The Witch or Hereditary.
Yeah.
Those come close, but they're still
not. It's not the same feeling. You still get really that kind of mass production, just get it out there feeling from it.
Yeah. Well, not from those movies.
No, not a lot, but maybe it's because I don't know. It's the same actors everywhere.
Yeah.
They keep recycling talent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
that's also a Disney and Netflix thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they did that back then as well. You had your starlets. You had.
Yeah.
I mean, Mia Farrow was a big ass star. She did a lot of movies.
Yeah. But there was a difference. That is
considering how much the industry has grown, it feels like
we should have more classics.
Productions hasn't grown with
the
amount of productions. Like the art hasn't grown with the productions. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You have more people, you have more money, you have more technology, but you just, instead of using those things to make art, you just throw it out there and get money.
Yeah. So
and it's the same with, like you said, it's the same with other art forms as well. Music as well.
Yeah, definitely music.
You can do it from home now, so you don't have to put that much heart in it.
Yeah.
You don't release it to have, like, when you've released your new album, you don't set concert dates anymore. Okay, this year specifically.
Yeah.
But, like,
well,
not a lot of new music is coming in concerts in general. Like, mention one band releasing new music that has tried to. Well, I think the last one I can think of is like Slipknot.
No, I mean people tour, but the thing is that people don't release albums anymore. People release singles, or in Drake's case, they release playlists.
What?
Yeah, he didn't. He makes so much.
I don't listen to him,
he makes so much music now, but he made a couple of years ago. He made. It wasn't an album. It was a Spotify playlist with new songs, and it was like 30 songs that went on for an hour, because it was basically like he made background music. Basically, that's how people described it. It's not bad, but it's not like music.
Okay, I gotta give it though to Machine Gun Kelly. Quite recently released his new album.
Yeah, he released
That
an
was
album, and people
that
do
was a
still release
proper
albums. Yeah,
album.
yeah,
He did it the proper way as well. That hasn't been done in a while.
yeah.
Like, and he had a concert for no audience though. But yeah, that's just
Well, that's
2020.
2020. Yeah. Well, that might be the new normal. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
You can still release art.
Yes, of course, of course.
That's what I want to get at. I want more art. I want passion in the projects. I just don't want just money.
Well, that's
It's a shame.
it's a shame, but I gotta say, there are good movies being released nowadays. I just want to say that, like,
Of course, of
the
course.
the general stuff is more wishy washy. I mean, I'm gonna fortunately we don't have too big of an audience, but I'm gonna say something mean about Marvel. But like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
the biggest release of this decade probably was Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
Money wise, it was the
Yeah,
biggest release.
financially, yes.
And I guess for the fans, it was like the culmination of 10 years of movies, 11 years technically, 11
Not
years
even
of
for the
movies.
fans, like everyone else went
Yeah.
and saw it as well.
And but and it's hard to compare them, but just looking at the craft, like compare Endgame to Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, Rosemary's Baby is woof
Yeah.
over
Okay.
Endgame.
Good.
Because Endgame is barely acting anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
This story, absolutely. I mean, considering the Marvel universe as one story, the writing is huge. That would be Lord of the Rings type of books, like you would get volume.
Yeah.
But comprising it down to those individual movies and then a couple of assembly movies, it waters it down when you're trying to comprise it into. Well, actually, when you're doing that many movies about such a long story,
Yeah.
because you same when they made movies of the Harry Potter books and Hunger Games and Twilight, all of those books that were loved. The first couple of movies, perfect.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, of course, you miss some details, and
That's always
the
gonna
hardcore
happen.
fans are always gonna be mad about that detail.
Yeah.
But when you get to the last one and they do it in 2 parts,
Yeah, because they want
the
to
magic is lost.
They want to make more money.
Yeah, but you lose that sense of what you lose the soul of the book, of the story, when you dilute it and part it into more than one movie.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the Marvel universe. I get that, okay, this is a lot of story. Of course, you're not going to fit that into one movie.
Yeah.
But maybe it could have
22?
been. Yeah, maybe it could have been half.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really need 3 Iron Man movies.
No.
Even though he's possibly the coolest one in the best movies.
And even though the third one is like one of my favorites. But yeah, you don't need those 3 to tell his story.
You could put his story in one.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, here, have an origin story for each character. Then you do the first Avengers movie. And then you have like 1 or 2 where they kind of split up. And then you have the second
and you
movie.
add a few more new characters.
It's like 10 movies. 10 movies in 10 years. Once each year, not 2 each year. Anyway.
Now, that's why I prefer.
Yeah.
Even, like I said, even like from the 90s.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do 15 movies within the franchise. You did 1 movie about one thing. You added everything you could into it, and then you moved on.
Well, I'm very glad you're saying that, because I always knew you had a little more taste than the common people.
Thank you.
But I mean,
you taught me well.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you've never been into movies the way I am, really?
No, not really. I mean, more now though.
Yeah, more now. So you know what? There's a whole world of weird but very well made movies that I could show you. So
I did have a part of my life when I tried to watch every single movie you had in your bookcase. I started from the first one.
Yeah.
I didn't get far.
No, you want to know something? Not even I have seen every movie I own. There are movies that I have bought and not watched.
Shame on you.
I know.
Oh my god, that's just fake.
But it's like, I bought a box of Dario Argento movies. I watched the 3 first out of 5, and then I started watching the 4th one, and I thought it was terrible, so I never watched the 5th one. Even though they're not a franchise, they're just 5 movies by him, but it just never happened. I never watched the 5th one. So it's kind of like that. So there's like 1% that I haven't watched, but still. I have some movies. I even have the Swedish vampire movie, Let the Right One In. I have seen that movie, but I bought that from a friend a few years ago, and that DVD that I bought of him, I haven't watched it. It's still in plastic.
You watched it like download or something, right?
Oh yeah, when it was new, and then I bought it like 10 years after it was new. I bought it on DVD, and like, yeah, now I own it. I don't want to watch it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
No, whatever. Anyway.
Well, yeah.
Right. So maybe maybe like every other episode in next year's spoilercast, like we'll do new movies and stuff, but every now and then maybe we'll sprinkle in a classic or something that I recommend. Who knows? Right.
Because the spoilercast isn't about new movies only. It's about spoiling movies.
Yeah, it's about spoiling movies.
If you've seen it, if it's been around, I mean, it's been around for ages, and I still hadn't seen it until now. So
yeah, exactly.
It would have spoiled it for me.
Yeah. But let's wrap it up then. Quick update for the rest of the year, because not that much left. It's November and then December. In November, we might have another couple of spoiler casts. I mean, we don't have anything planned, but we'll try, yeah. But in December, I have actually prepared a full 24-episode Advent calendar. It's still in pre-production, but I'm going to start production of it in November. This year, I am making 24 episodes. So it's going to be...
I've said that a few times before.
I have said that a few times, but now I'm not starting pre-production on December 1st. I'm starting pre-production in October.
Good.
So I'm really going to try this time. And there won't be much time left for me to do... We're not going to do... Well, Adam Sandler podcast is over. We're not going to do Please Don't Livestream. And I only have one spoiler cast planned because it's actually part of the Advent calendar. So just so you know, we're gonna do a couple of episodes in November and then one in December. But other than that, this is kind of the end for this year of spoilercast.
Yeah.
But we'll be back, like we said, a couple of times more this year, and then we're gonna be back next year, of course. And yeah.
Unless the world ends.
Yeah, of course. And there's always that, But that's a big.
You never know. We have a couple of things happening in the world.
Yeah, we have COVID. We have the wildfires are still going on. We have an election coming up.
Yeah.
The world might end.
I gotta mention this because we talked about this when Trump was elected. Do you remember our texting conversation that day?
Yep, the day of, we realized that like 4 out of 6 signs of the
end of the world,
the Hindu version or Buddhist version of the apocalypse.
Not just the Buddhist version, like the Norse version. I think even like the Christian version had a couple of signs in it.
Yeah,
a bunch of different religions, signs of the end of the days.
They occurred
on that day, and they have continued.
Yeah,
throughout these last 4 years.
It's all culminated here in his hopefully last year of presidency.
Yeah,
so maybe the world will end. Who knows?
We said it here.
Biden gets elected, and the world just poof.
Yeah. Or hopefully, if the better person is elected, maybe he saves it. I don't know. Maybe he's our messiah.
Yeah. Let's not talk too much politics. No. I don't like either of them. But,
no, God, no.
No.
Luckily, we're not American.
It's just like last time. You gotta pick the lesser of two evils, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, if you have to pick. Fortunately, we don't have to. But anyway, enough from the political report here on spoilerCast. Thank you for watching. Keep a lookout. Tomorrow, nothing new, but on Saturday, on Halloween Eve, we're releasing a big final episode of this childhood horror memories series, and yeah, check that out if you wanna hear about the time I feared for my life from watching a movie.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. But until then, have a good one. Bye.